Well, first, let me take you back to the video that I posted a couple of days ago, showing my corn just beautiful, 20 inches tall or thereabouts, fertilizing it with all sorts of hopes and dreams. And then I did something real careless. I left a gate open. So let me just put it this way. Little formula for you. Garden plus cows minus gate equals devastation. They came in here and absolutely wiped that corn out. Now, it has grown about 3 or 4 inches since they ate it. That's been a few days ago. But I mean, look at this. Some of it they pulled up, most of it they did not pull up. But on occasion they did. There's one laying there pulled up. Most of it they did not pull up. But you can just see some of those. I mean, they had a ball. That one right there was probably, or that one rather, it was probably 2 feet tall. Now it's topped real bad. Now, what I need to know from you folks, some of y'all been through this before. If not cows, it was deer, horse, something got in and ate your corn. I need to know this. Will the corn come back? Should I continue to watering it, fertilizing it? Will it come back from being topped and cropped like this? Now, my brother-in-law just came over, looked at it, and said yes. He said it'll come back. He said, matter of fact, sometimes it's even good for it, kind of like a pruning. I don't know. If you know, if you've been through this before, then I need you to comment and let me know if this will come back. Now let's walk around and let's look at the rest of the devastation. Well, these peas had grown up the grow arch, were about 7 feet tall, and they nipped them pretty good. They didn't get some of the stems, so it could be they put on leaves and they're fine, but some of those they pulled up. They pull those up out of the ground. My yard-long beans, get it where you ain't looking at myself in the shadow here. My yard-longs, they didn't eat. I came in the other day and planted where there was some gaps, planted some more. They don't like yard-long beans, but they love Kentucky Wonder pole beans. Wow. That's pretty random. All right, they also apparently really enjoy burpless cucumbers. They left me one on that side and a few on this side. So I'll be replanting burpless. Let's go look at something else. Well, they took the tops off some of my pepper plants. Some of them they just bit some of the leaves. That one they took some pretty good bit of top off of it. That one they took a pretty good bit of top off of it. Knocked that one over a little bit. I'll have to pick him up, put a cage around him. Already got about a 10-inch banana pepper there. They didn't like the pepper, but they nipped some of the leaves. And that is a sweet banana, and that is a cool jalapeno. It's got some on it. That gum. Ooh, I got some big enough to pick in there. Cool jalapeno. I love the jalapeno taste, but I just can't handle the fire. And they did not touch the tomato plants. Maybe because they were in cages, but I don't think so. I got a lot of foliage hanging out of the cage, so they don't like tomato plants. All right, let's look at something else. Well, this was okra, and it wasn't a very good stand of it. I planted it early, and it just didn't germinate well, but some of it did, and I pruned, or thinned rather. A big old footprint, there gum you. So some of that's weed, some of that's okra. I'm just trying to wait for it to get up a little tall enough, taller, where I can figure out what's what. I'll just replant okra, I'm sure. And then I had a pretty good stand right here of Brussels sprouts. They were up there. I had some that were 10, 12, 15 inches tall. Boy, they love them some Brussels sprouts. All right, let's see what else they did. Well, they ate a lot of the foliage on the grapes. These are champanelle, and they stripped most of the leaves off of them. Didn't eat any of the grapes as far as I can tell, but I mean, there's a bunch of grapes on that one, and they just didn't seem to care for the grapes. But they did eat a lot of the foliage on the grapes, on this stand of grapes. Let's go look at something else. Something also unique to cows is what they leave behind. I've always let my sheep out. When I had a garden, I didn't, because I knew they would do something similar to this. But I'd let them out, and they'd chew on the blackberries a little bit, and they'd chew things they could reach, but being short, they couldn't reach a whole lot. So I'm used to letting animals out into places where I have things planted. But sheep and cows work a little bit differently. Let me show you how. Now, I'm kind of used to sheep poop. Sheep spread it out, kind of like fertilizer spreader. Just give you a good, even fertilization all over the place. Cows, on the other hand, well, they definitely have a more intensive application of fertilizer. They leave much bigger presents. Well, here's one of my apple trees. This is an Anna, and it was loaded down with apples. I mean, it had 50 apples on it probably. I came in here, broke some limbs, ate some leaves, ate a bunch of apples. I watched them kind of close because I was afraid they may have got too many apples, may get a bellyache, but some of the apples up high they missed. Couldn't reach them. But they got this tree pretty good, broke a lot of limbs and such. All right, let's look at something else. Well, this is another Anna also, and they didn't seem to mess with it hardly at all. I am loaded down with Anna apples, and they got some of the lower ones. There was some apples kind of low. They didn't. This tree, I guess, is a little higher than the rest of them. They just couldn't reach. I did figure out they don't like figs. I don't see any fig damage. The only damage on the figs was a couple of limbs broke off as they walked past it, I'm sure. So figs are in good shape. I don't see any leaves eating off figs, so they don't care for fig trees. Well, it looks like he nipped off one little bite of onion. And he said to himself, nope, that ain't it, because they left the rest of them alone. They apparently don't like watermelon. A watermelon is running, spreading, and they didn't touch the watermelon at all. But apparently they do like cantaloupe. This whole row was cantaloupe, and they either ate or pulled up most all of it. Let's go look at something else. Well, they came through the blackberry patch, but really didn't care for it apparently, because I don't see much damage at all, probably because these are thorned. They don't care for the thorns. But they did do something out here. They messed with my brand new little mulberry tree. Broke off a few limbs. Dadgummit. The mulberries had fallen off just from shock from the transplant, so wasn't going to have any berries this year. But I was expecting some pretty good growth, and I'm going to have to come in here and kind of do some pruning, I guess, and spur this thing on a little bit. They like the mulberry tree. Let's go look at something else. I came through my peas. I would have thought peas would have been their favorite food, but they nipped at them. They didn't get a lot of them, but so I don't know whether I need to replant or not. But they did come through and take the tops off some of my peas. Now I've seen peas come back when they were grazed like that or mowed like that, as long as they get some water. So I watered them pretty good a while ago, and we'll see, they may come back up anyway. Now here's another apple tree. Now this apple tree is tall. They couldn't get any of those. But that is a Fuji, and that dude is loaded down. I mean loaded down. I have thinned. Apparently I didn't thin a bunch, as much as I should, but I mean I probably had 100 of them laying on the ground that I thinned out not long ago. But that Fuji is laden. They didn't get into Fujis. Let's look at something else. They didn't really mess with the pear trees because they're just tall, pruned tall. But all in all, they didn't eat any chickens either. All in all, not a good day here at the farm. My own fault, my own carelessness. Cows just being cows, and I'm just being stupid. And from now on, when I walk in the house, I'm going to look at all the gates. All right, want to show you the devastation. If you know whether that corn is going to come back, or even if the peas you think are going to come back, I think they will. But the corn I'm not sure of. If you have gone through this before with deer, cows, horses, something like that eating your corn, then let me know. I'd like to know if I need to continue to baby that corn and work it, or whether just let it go. Somebody tell me. I appreciate your comments as usual. All right, if you're not subscribed, subscribe down there and hit that little bell right there. All right, we appreciate y'all. Hope your garden's doing better than mine. All right, we're gone.